The Empire Strikes Back. Google goes ahead and leaks their own phone. And is Apple doing the right thing the wrong way? And does modularity belong in the laptop world? We'll talk about all of this and more on today's episode of Jaydan and Laramie Talk Tech. My name's Laramie.
And I'm Jaydan.
And here we are, and I did the intro in one shot.
We made it!
Last week was a fluke.
One and done.
I hope you guys enjoyed that little super montage that we did last week. We sure did enjoy doing it and messing up that much.
Yeah. We heard good feedback on it though too.
Yeah. One of our viewers said that they literally started laughing out loud.
I did.
They saw it. Yeah.
When I listened to it, I laughed out loud.
I had some liberties with the editing on that one and had a little too much fun with it. But we're glad that you guys are here joining us for another episode 16, in fact. And so make sure you're following us on all social media, and which is Jaydan and Laramie, and then also on our YouTube. I'm still really loving the YouTube format of everything. Being able to enjoy talking to the camera we're talking to our viewers is pretty fun. But we have a pretty feature-packed episode today.
Oh yeah.
Some bangers, some things that might make you go, wait. What does this belong in a tech podcast? But surely it does, because we're talking about it, and this is a tech podcast.
Yeah.
So, Jaydan, take us into it, man.
Well, let's just hop into the big one. Google just showed off their phone.
Here you go.
Which they kind of did this with the 4.
Yeah.
If you remember.
Yes.
But they didn't do it to this degree.
No, they only showed the back of the 4.
Yeah. They just tweeted the back of the 4, and they were like, yeah, there's more to come.
Yeah.
And then I think they maybe gave the date too.
Yeah.
So they confirmed when it was going to be announced. But this time they just literally showed off the phone. Front, I think. Did they show the front too?
I don't remember. Let's take a look.
I don't know if they showed the front.
But just keep chatting with everybody.
They definitely showed the back of the phone, all of the colors, and they gave away some of the specs.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but some of the specs.
Talked about Tensor.
Yeah, that was the big thing.
That was the big thing.
That was the big thing, is they were trying to show off their new processor called Google Tensor.
Yeah.
Which I think is a cool name. Actually.
Yeah. I'm not mad about it, for sure. I think, another one of the questions would be, Jaydan, what's your favorite color?
Black, for sure.
The black one?
Yeah.
Is the straight black?
Second,
yeah, that's just you. You always do that.
Yeah, I always get the black phone. But I do like the gray with the black. I think it's a cool look.
The gray with the black is really cool, too.
Yeah, the gray top.
I'm trying to find the actual Google article. But was that them just Google Tensor chip? I think they just talked about the Tensor chip.
They definitely showed the back of the phone.
Google, do I need to tell you? Okay, here you go. Do I need
Maybe
to tell
they
you
didn't show the front.
Maybe they didn't, but they showed enough. Because they showed the front.
Yeah,
I guess we can
show the screen share.
You guys real quick.
Cool.
So here's the front. A whole GIF and everything of it. GIF, don't get mad at me. Does it kind of look like it has a little bit of a chin? Not like the Pixel 5?
I don't think it's as slim of a forehead and chin as the 5.
Yeah.
Partially because they went back to a speaker.
Yes.
You see that?
I'm so... Hallelujah.
Yeah. For a millimeter difference.
Yeah.
On the top and bottom to be symmetrical.
Yeah.
I think is fine.
The Pixel 5 speakers, man, are just absolutely horrible.
Yeah, it's not that great. The 4A's is way better. Just because it's an actual speaker.
Dual front facing. I think I am one of those people that I am so okay with sacrificing a little bit of forehead and chin to be able to have actual real front facing speakers. That means more to me.
Yeah. I think so too. This looks more Galaxy like to me, which it's for better or worse. Like it. Yeah. I
guess the only thing that I was a little disappointed with the design choice is just on the upper models. Again, they're doing the shiny, kind of like what Apple did.
They're doing glass back and then curved glass on the Pros.
Yeah, which if you're watching on YouTube, you should be able to see that I have Google's actual release article about Tensor up and the colors that we have here.
Yep.
So Jaydan said that he really likes this.
Yeah, I like the black one, the gray bar.
Gray.
My second favorite would maybe, I don't know. I like the gold. I think that's cool.
I'm kind of into this. It almost looks like yellow, like a pastel-y yellow, but I know in some other stuff
it's like champagne.
It looks champagne.
Yeah.
This is probably what I'll go with.
It's probably your favorite.
Yeah, just because
it's different.
It's different. Mm-hmm. If I was talking to Mike. Shout out to Mike Madden, who ended up getting a Pixel 4a.
He did. Yeah. He showed it to me.
So he Google, honestly, come on, man, throw us some of the cash, okay? Because like we're
if you want to sponsor,
please. We're getting people right and left. I mean, there was one of our viewers on the YouTube comments. They
that's
said,
one of my buddies.
Yeah. He was like, "Hey, stop talking about us so much. You're gonna make me buy one." I'm like, "No, that's what we're here for, man. Just converting people one step at a time."
Yeah.
But I do like the champagne gold one. I think it's gonna be the one that I get. But what I was saying, I was having a conversation with my buddy Mike, and I want to go caseless. But I also really like tempered glass screen protectors because I just, if I get a nick on my screen, it just drives me up the wall. And going caseless with a tempered glass screen protector, your finger catches on the glass a lot.
Yeah.
So it's just, I guess I'm just gonna wear protection.
Yeah. Are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna wear protection. But I love the aesthetics. I think the aesthetics are really cool.
I think it looks great. I like the camera bar. That's what they're officially calling it.
The camera bar? Okay. I'm not mad at that. Yeah. That's fine. Which is funny. I was actually showing Jaydan that the OnePlus 7 actually had a prototype that looks very much like
this is crazy.
This is funny, man.
This is from years ago.
This is years ago. This is the OnePlus 7 Pro as a prototype, and they were gonna try to do this. So for those of you who are just listening to the podcast, it basically looks like the Pixel 6. Like sans having two split colors, it's just one.
If they had done it, man, the Pixel probably never would look like this.
Yeah, no, they would have. Yeah,
they would have avoided it.
Stayed far away from that. But I dig this. Like this, I would have totally owned this.
Yeah,
and
it's
I have
cool.
the OnePlus 7 Pro.
I don't know if I like the metal, but that's probably because it's a prototype.
Yeah, I
think the whole thing being black would be cool.
Yeah, exactly. Like just like the Pixel 6.
Yeah.
But I mean, we get confirmed that it's going to be better sensors for the camera. Hallelujah again.
I know. Finally.
I mean, just really with Jayden and I, because we're actually friends outside of the podcast, we went to lunch before this and we were talking about it. And this could be the time that they finally hit it out of the park.
This looks like I think it's their first like real try to nail all of the boxes and compete directly with the highest end phones.
Yeah.
Being an Galaxy Ultra and 12 Pro Max, 12 Pro.
Yeah.
I think this is like their first attempt to truly compete with that phone.
Yeah.
That tier of phone.
Yeah.
And it looks like it is going to. I mean, I don't know if Tensor is going to be as fast as an A14 or A15 level chip.
Doesn't sound like it from what I've been reading.
But I don't think it has to be because, I mean, we've been kind of talking about this in the past. Phones are kind of doing what we expect phones to do really well. And the faster phones get, we're not really going to notice the difference.
Yeah.
So,
no,
I mean, it's cool that they're getting faster, but I think Rick Osterloh from Google, he's like the product lead for Google's hardware division. He's even said that too when he was talking about Tensor. He's saying like, we're getting to a point where Moore's Law I think we're going to disprove Moore's Law.
Okay.
To a degree, where hardware on processors it's only going to get so fast that we won't be able to take advantage of that speed.
Oh, yeah,
even though we could make it faster, we won't be able to take advantage of the speed necessarily. So he's saying Tensor, what makes it different than the way other people are approaching other processors, is AI is going to be the differentiator
Yeah.
for them. And that's why they're calling it tensor, which is like a brain term.
Oh,
So
I knew that, but maybe the podcast listeners didn't.
yeah. So it's a machine learning term. Google has TensorFlow, which is like a machine learning tool that they have.
Okay.
And then TPU would be tensor processing unit.
Well, I mean, I think that's the main draw, especially for enthusiasts like us. That's the main draw for a Google phone is the machine learning, and the artificial intelligence, which Google themselves said they're going to be investing a lot of money into this.
And this processor, because it's designed more around the machine learning and the AI, it's actually going to make like the CPU and the GPU not have to work as hard.
Yeah.
Because there's a completely separate unit that's doing all the machine learning work.
Yeah.
So the CPU is kind of alleviated from that work.
That workload. Yeah. I mean, we've seen what Google's able to do with the chips in their partnership with Snapdragon and everything. And we can probably expect at least similar results to Apple jumping to their own processor. We can see similar results in just the efficiency and streamlining and everything. I just don't think it's going to be as powerful as like Apple's jump.
I don't.
But maybe
think,
to your point, maybe it doesn't matter.
I don't think it will necessarily matter because the special features that they're going to have for the machine learning are just going to be. I think they're going to knock it out of the park.
Yeah. On
the machine learning features, so. I don't know. We'll see what happens in terms of like people benchmarking it and testing it against the Snapdragon 888 and soon to become 898. Supposed to be the newly released Qualcomm later this year.
I already don't care. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It's going to be cool. I mean, Qualcomm's doing some cool things on
competition
on their higher end. But yeah,
I mean, necessary.
Qualcomm's stock went down quite a bit when this is announced.
Yeah.
Because Google said, like when they announced this, they said that with current, like what was available to them, they weren't able to do what they wanted to do. Yeah. Which is like a direct knock at Qualcomm.
For sure.
And saying like Qualcomm doesn't have what we want to do.
Qualcomm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of one of those things that I think, and we talked about this at lunch. Really, Google doesn't care about Apple.
No.
They care more about stealing Samsung's.
And OnePlus users.
Yeah, and OnePlus users.
Yeah.
Which, bad news for OnePlus with basically ruining their software. It hasn't been ruined yet, but it is definitely on its way to being ruined.
And the public opinion was really, really good for OnePlus until all this Oppo stuff happened. Yeah. With ColorOS and I mean,
one wants this.
Yeah, no one. I wouldn't say no one wants OnePluses, but a lot of people that were really big OnePlus fans are not OnePlus fans anymore.
Me. Yeah. Pointing at me. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I mean, once you start using a Pixel, really it's the call screening, it's the little features that Google proprietary stuff has that I just wouldn't be able to go back. But I mean, I'm still a OnePlus fan. I'm just becoming less of one. And it's just really bad timing for them because they're going to outrage a lot of their fans because the whole thing was like, oh yeah, just the essentials, never settle, just the essentials. Yeah. And the software was really great in stock. And I mean, you look at Reddit and all those forums, and that's all they talk about is just like how much they love that it's like stock and
Oxygen OS was my favorite
100%.
Version of a skinned version of Android.
I liked it better than the last stock Android.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they implemented some features that I was like, well, I like this more than stock Android.
For sure.
So
and now it's ruined.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not technically ruined yet just because it's still pretty much the same. But I mean, come on. Now
you look at ColorOS and you look at Oxygen OS. Yeah. And it's probably going to be somewhere in between those. Yeah. But it's not going to be what Oxygen OS is right now. So.
And hopefully just because so many fans are outraged and it's pretty vocal right now about it, hopefully they see that as like, okay, maybe we should keep it as they won't go back to Oxygen, but maybe they'll keep it a lot more stock and keep it looking a lot more like Oxygen OS. But they're already making the transition to Oxygen OS on Color OS.
Yeah.
Is what it is. And so it's just bad timing for OnePlus because, they're 100% going to lose customers to Google once Pixel 6 comes out. And then Samsung, I mean, we try not to take a dump on any brands on this show, but neither one of us are huge Samsung fans.
No.
So we're thinking that some people are going to be moved over from that as well.
And then also you heard, I'm sure, that Samsung's not doing a Note this year.
Oh, they're not.
No.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So that's
no Note.
No Notes.
Which means Google's kind of set up perfectly.
Yeah.
For
a takeover.
A
hostile takeover is coming.
Takeover of yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm here for it, man.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned before, we think this really could be Google's year. The one thing I'm not excited about, but it is pretty predictable, is just the pricing is starting to leak.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's going to be high.
Yeah. We're looking back at like Pixel 4 territory. Like more than that even, right? Because what did the Pixel 4 come out?
Possibly more than that.
Yeah. Because right now they're talking 1,100 for the Pixel 6 Pro with the lower amount of storage.
Which would be 128.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 1,200, I think, for the step up.
For a 256?
Yeah.
Or a 512? Are they doing 256 and 512, or are they doing 128?
It's a good question. I don't think they actually mentioned that officially.
Yeah, I don't think they officially
But I know so in the leaks of the pricing, they're saying there's going to be 2 pricing segments in both of the Pixel 6
2
and the Pixel
storage
6 Pro.
options per size.
Probably, I'm assuming.
Right? Yeah.
That's typically what you're surcharging for
mm-hmm.
on stuff like that. But
I don't know on price. I mean, the 4 was $799 and $899.
$799 and $899.
Yeah, so the smaller 4 was $799. The 4 XL was $899.
Then if the leaks are right, then we're shooting pretty high above that to be in direct competition with Samsung.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be quite as expensive as the Ultra.
Yeah,
because the Ultra is $1,299.
Yeah, I think they're
right.
Yeah, $1,300.
Yeah, so it's the Ultra is $1,300. I don't think the Pro is going to be $1,300.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
They're probably going to be more exactly matched. I think they'll be exactly matched to the Pro iPhones.
Yeah.
I think they're going to match them probably to a T.
Probably just because
$999, $1099.
Yeah, and probably just because they see that people are willing to pay that.
Yeah.
And it's going to be comparable.
And Google wants to see people to see these phones as the Pro Android phones.
Yeah.
Right? The Pro iPhones of Android.
Hence the change in moniker.
Yeah, we're getting a Pro name.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they're going to do, is put it price-wise right where the iPhone Pros are at.
Yeah.
So,
which is fine. I was telling him, which is fine.
It's
I sound so excited
for people
about
that don't
it.
want to spend that much.
Yeah. I just I don't know. Like we both thought that the Pixel 5 was a little overpriced. Just
for what it was
for here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I think it was $100 too expensive.
Yeah, it was $100 too expensive. And granted, the Pixel 6 is going to be probably worth every penny.
I think so. I mean, it doesn't have the third camera lens, which I'm kind of bummed about, that the smaller size.
Oh yeah, I am bummed about that.
Yeah, they confirmed it. So we've been talking about this in the rumors, but they confirmed that the Pro is getting all 3 lenses and the smaller 6 is not. And these are both pretty big phones.
Yeah.
I mean, they're within 0.2, 0.3 inches of each other.
Yeah.
So they're not really that far off screen size wise from each other. But the 6 Pro is getting a larger screen and a third lens.
Yeah.
So
dead are the days of smaller phones.
Yeah, I think we're kind of past that.
Yeah.
Happening.
It was a nice
pretty
little
regularly.
It was a nice little segue.
Yeah.
But I just really don't think that that's going to survive. Although the rumors are that there is going to be a 13 mini. an Apple 13 mini.
Which is bizarre to me because Apple's basically confirmed that it's not selling well. That the 12 mini is not selling well.
Maybe it's a loss leader.
Maybe it's just they just have to have it. Yeah, they just have to have it for people that want that particular phone, which Apple can make that sacrifice.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they can. They can afford it.
They can make that price sacrifice.
And I mean, to be fair, so could Google.
Yeah,
they could definitely afford it. But I just now I'm genuinely going to have a hard time deciding between the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro.
I'm not because I just want the best camera.
This guy, Mr. Moneybags now. Okay. Yeah,
I just want the best camera.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to spend the difference.
Well, the difference would be for me isn't do I sell my Pixel 5 and just go ahead and get the upgrade, or do I just not get a phone for a while? Mm-hmm. Right?
Because you could wait until it drops in price a bit.
Because I think that's what if I end up doing anything, it's going to be that. I don't think I'll get the Pixel 6. Mm-hmm. That's not enough of an upgrade.
So what we haven't talked about yet, though, what do you think this means for the Fold?
Ooh, yeah, that is a good question.
They didn't make one mention of a foldable Pixel coming.
Yeah.
They talked about the Pixel 6. They're hyping it up. They're excited about it. They want people to see this phone. They didn't say a single thing about a Fold.
I guess I'd be curious to see what the market research is on foldables, courtesy of Samsung. Mm-hmm. Like, is it really just higher, upper echelon, super enthusiasts that get those phones?
I don't know. I feel like you'd have to get the price significantly down.
Yeah.
To convince people to go for it.
Yeah.
Almost at where it's at right now.
Yeah.
Price wise.
Yeah. Secondhand and stuff like that.
Yeah. Secondhand wise. So you can get, I think I was looking at it a couple days ago just because I was curious on Swappa. You can get.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. You can get a Fold 2, a Galaxy Fold 2 for $900.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's launched at what, 1900?
Yeah, it was
18 or 1900.
It was really up there.
So I mean, it's dropped $1,000 in a year.
Yeah, those early adopters are upset right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the price that you pay.
Price for early adoption.
But yeah, I mean, $900 you can get a foldable. If they launched at that price, $1,000, let's say. Yeah, I think you could get a lot more people to buy that phone, to buy the foldable. For sure. 100%. A lot more people.
Even the Z Flip. Mm-hmm. If they brought that down just a little.
Yeah, because it's $1,400.
Yeah.
Right. It's $100 more than the Ultra.
Those pretty quickly came down to around $1,900. Mm-hmm.
Which Samsung, right? Yeah, exactly. They discount their stuff
for sure.
But still, if the starting retail price was lower in a price that makes more sense. Yeah. I feel like you could get a lot more people to buy into it.
Yeah, and I totally agree. It's just we're talking about super greedy companies here that will just want to make money, which fair enough. That's what they exist for. Yeah. But so what does this mean for the Pixel Fold? I hope the reason that they didn't bring anything up about it in this blog is just that they all right, we gave them a lot to chew on. We don't need to give them anything more. Yeah. Maybe they'll release another blog later.
They didn't mention the watch either.
Yeah,
the watch is heavily rumored to come either this year or very early next year. Yeah, launch wise.
Well, to be fair too, they didn't even talk about Pixel 5a either, did they?
No,
in the whole blog.
No, and then what's also weird is they launched Nest cameras 2 days later. Yeah. So they could have done all of this in one day and just taken up the whole news cycle with their hardware. And they didn't. They 2 days after this, they released 3 Nest cameras. Yeah.
See, again, I just think their marketing is bonkers. I just don't get it.
Yeah, they're not the most logical. They should have taken up the whole news cycle and just announced a bunch of things.
Yeah. No, I agree. Because then you would have gotten more attention to the Nest cameras because they would have been lumped in with
Yeah, you would have gotten more attention to both because people that were interested in Nest cameras would have been like, oh, cool. Yeah. A new Pixel phone. Yeah. That looks really good. Yeah. Yeah. So
they just don't, I don't know, man. Just come on, just hire my wife.
But
she's already a Google partner.
Data driven. Maybe it is all data driven. They're a heavily data driven company.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just like, we know that people are going to look at the news cycle, and if we trickle in the news, we're getting more views over time.
But maybe they're reading too much in between the lines.
Yeah.
Because it's like, so Morgan, my wife, she works in marketing, and she's like an official Google partner or whatever. So she talks with them all the time. And 9 times out of 10, I feel like she's always like, no, if they would do this, it would be so much better.
Yeah.
And I trust my wife. She's smart. That's pro tip for all you husbands. She's smart. And I just like, I don't get it. I don't get the marketing behind it. It frustrates me as a fan. Because I'm like, come on. Like,
I wish they would nail it.
Yeah, I really do. Because this is so much potential.
I think they're going to do better, though. I'm hoping they do better. Fingers crossed.
And my toes. I'm crossing my toes, too.
I mean, they did say, so this was another thing that people called back to when this was announced, is that Google, on their earnings call for the last quarter, they actually told their investors that they were going to expect significant increase in spending on marketing.
Yeah, which is great.
That has to do with the Pixel 6, for sure.
For sure. And I mean, again, just for those of you who are watching, this is a sexy phone, guys. Oh no, it's not showing up. Oh well. It's a sexy phone. Look it up. I just think that they're nailing it on the aesthetics. A lot of people have been saying that it doesn't look very Pixel. Like, I think it does.
Well, I mean, they've also changed the look of the Pixel every year.
Yeah.
So I think, what is looking Pixel?
Yeah. I just think that this is like a natural like evolution of the Pixel 2.
I
just
think
because like with the
it
split
reminds
glass.
me of the Nexus 6P most.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I loved that phone. That was a cool phone.
I loved my Nexus 6P.
I never ended up actually being able to afford it, but
well, they did go down in price
pretty quick.
Lot.
Yeah, pretty quick. I think I rocked my Nexus 5. I think that's the longest held phone I've ever had.
Really?
Like I found it the other day too.
Really?
I think I sent you pictures. And it's like the glass is all shattered on it. I was able to power it on.
Oh, no.
I was like, man, this phone.
Yeah.
That had that rubberized texture.
I love my Nexus 5 too.
It was a good phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, seeing their prices, like the $1,200, $1,300 possibility on the 6 Pro, it really puts the Fold into territory that I'm like, I wouldn't be able to get one for like a year or two.
If the Fold came out and they're like, yeah, it's $1,600, there's no way. I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah.
I would wait a year and then probably buy it used for $800.
Yeah.
And just to be able to play with it.
Yeah. But, because the Pixel 5, like it's held its value pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
But I would expect something like the Pixel Fold. I would expect, because it's so niche, that's something that you'd probably see a pretty substantial drop.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at the Surface Duo.
Yeah.
The Surface Duos launched at $1,400. You can get them for $400.
Are you serious?
You can get one for
crazy.
$400, $500.
Yeah. Still not enough for me to buy one, but
no.
It's crazy.
With that terrible of a camera?
No, man.
No way.
No, you can't do that. You can't give me that. But I mean, it's still really cool. I mean, other Google news is that we're getting closer to knowing when the Pixel 5a is going to drop.
Yeah.
Which we're predicting now August 26th.
I think they said 26th.
I think it's the 26th. Which, I mean, to my bereavement, sounds like it's going to basically be a Pixel 5.
For $450.
For $450. Which I was talking to Morgan the other day. I'm like, do I sell my Pixel 5 now before it releases and then get this for?
It's going to be a larger screen. So if you want a little bit larger screen.
I hate this so much.
Same size battery.
Same chip, right?
Same chip. No wireless charging, which you've already said that you don't really care about wireless charging. I would like the wireless charging.
I use it every day, wireless charging.
But you could do without it.
But I could do without it.
Yeah. See, that's how I am too. I like wireless charging, but I can live without it. Yeah. I'm living without it right now.
Yeah. I think they still haven't talked anything about the charging speed, which I'm like,
yeah.
I just don't want, I want a little bit more than 18.
I think it'll be a little bit better.
I better be more.
It is their own processor. so they're no longer tied to Qualcomm's fast charging speeds and
they don't
what you get standard versus what you have to license.
Yeah.
So
for sure,
probably a little bit faster. I'm guessing 22 watts, 26 watts maybe. It's not going to go up crazy, but a little bit faster.
I just don't know what to do, man. I just don't.
We'll see how much they cost. I mean,
the rumor is $450. You think it's be more than that?
I would hope it'd be less than that, but I don't think they're going to bring it lower than that.
No.
What's the 4A 5G? It launched at 500?
4A 5G
retail.
Yeah,
so the 4A 5G was 500.
Yeah.
So this is 450 for basically the same phone with a 90 hertz option. So you can turn the screen to 90 hertz.
Man.
The 4A 5G, you can't.
That's pretty nice.
That's pretty nice.
You know what? So this is going to probably make me really upset. But I just need to know right now. I can't hold it any longer. I'm sorry, everybody.
Laramie's going to sell his phone on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's a special
feature. Walk through. This is a walkthrough on how to sell your phone on. Oh, wow. Man, Pixel 5 is, yeah.
You should sell it.
Dang. It looks like on Swappa, which I mean, Swappa, if you haven't used it before, it's a good platform. Starting at 587. I bought my phone for just a little bit more than that. So again, Pixel 5.
Laramie's going to sell his phone.
Yeah, I might, man. I might do it. It depends on what colors the Pixel 5a comes in.
Just black.
You think it's just going to... Well, they'll do
the rumor
special
is
editions,
just black.
right? Like afterwards?
I think John Prosser said on his article...
Because he's always right.
He's pretty much always right on the A series. On the A series, he hasn't been wrong yet.
I can still wish for him to be wrong, though, man.
Yeah.
Because Mike Madden, he got the blue one.
Mm-hmm.
That looks good.
See, I didn't even recognize the
Poltergeist.
Yeah. What the?
God, am I not supposed to sell my Pixel 5? Sorry, go ahead.
What was it?
We were talking about the blue one.
Yeah. So I didn't even recognize that it was the 4A when I saw it at first because I haven't actually seen that color of it.
Yeah.
I was like, what phone is this? But then you look at the back and you're like, oh, it's a 4A.
Yeah.
I like it. Looks color. Great.
It's cool. Like pastel-y blue. Like, really nice. But all right, well, maybe I'm going to have to talk to Jaydan about this more so he can convince me one way or the other. Maybe I should talk to my wife about it.
You should probably do that.
But it looks like the Pixel 5a is going to be a pretty sweet phone, especially for the price.
Yeah. I think they keep knocking it out of the park with the A series because they're just giving you what you would want at that price point.
Yeah.
And then some.
It's just this one a little bit more so than the other ones just feels a little bit more like a second thought.
Yeah. Well, and part of that is being the processor, right?
Yeah,
so like this is possibly the last Pixel with a Snapdragon processor.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. I think this probably is.
It could be.
Yeah.
Depending on what type of price point they're shooting for on the 6A next year.
Yeah.
But this could be the last Pixel with a Snapdragon processor.
Yeah.
So it feels a little bit like an afterthought, but it also feels like that's still an awesome phone at $450.
For sure.
I mean, what else do you really want out of a phone other than you look at the 6 and it has a crazy camera features and stuff, but
yeah. Well, did we mention that it's going to be 90 hertz toggled too?
Yeah, briefly.
So I mean,
you have to choose. It won't have like variable refresh, but still.
The only thing now, and I know that you disagree with me on this, is I just want to see some squeeze action again. I liked being able to squeeze those phones, man, and activate Assistant.
Coming right off of the 4XL that I just had, I never used it.
I used it all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I liked it a lot, that feature. But my mother-in-law got my Pixel 3, and so I get to see it every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like if you were to like give like your pet to a friend and you get to see your pet whenever you do. Yeah, it kind of feels that. I like that 3, man.
Yeah.
That was a good phone.
I think my uncle still has a 3.
Yeah, it's a good phone, man.
It is
like,
a good phone.
I see her using it, and I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's still is great.
It'll get long in the tooth, I think, this next year.
Probably.
But
it won't be anything like Apple with like, I saw a meme where it was like a guy like being all happy and stuff, and it's supposed to be the iPhone, and then it was like my iPhone the next time, the next release, and it's just like all glitchy and like it's like, yes, I mean that's what you get.
New
with
phone announced.
Yeah,
my phone all of a sudden starts freaking out,
go into a seizure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Pixel 6. Let us know what you think. Let us know if the rumors are enticing enough for you to start stocking away your hard-earned cash.
Yeah, I know we're both excited for it.
Yeah, we're very excited. And let us know what color you would pick. I'm just curious. They have some pretty funky colors in there.
Yeah, the greenish one is it's pretty cool.
The gray is that
like
kind of like a blue almost? It's like almost like a pastel blue with green
like a
on the top.
Greenish yellow.
Yeah.
On the top.
I dig it. I think
and then
these
the
are really
red,
cool.
yeah.
This isn't bad
pinkish,
either. Yeah,
it's like a pinkish orange.
The pink with the red. Super cool. I think they're going to knock this out of the park. I'm excited for it. But next on the docket, and I think the one that probably most people are going to be a little like, what are they talking about? Is Apple doing the right thing in the wrong way? And I mean, this is going to be kind of like a segment where we're talking ethics, I think.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Which, I mean, technology and ethics
they really go hand in hand
these days.
Yeah. But why don't you set up the whole premise for us, Jaydan?
Yeah. So my understanding, I mean, I've done some research on this, is Apple fairly recently, this last week, announced that they are working on a new iOS 15 feature. So this is going to be attached to iOS. It's not just going to be something that they turn on.
Yeah.
But iOS 15, they're working on a new system that scans your photos that are on your device for CSAM, which stands for Child Sexually Abusive Material. And if they flag, and this is all machine learning on device. So your device is actually scanning it. It's not going to a server somewhere and then it's being scanned on the server and flagged on the server. It's actually being flagged on your device.
Yeah.
And then they will alert authorities if they see too much of that particular subject material on your device. Which none of us, I think we all can agree, like it's a good thing.
Yeah.
That they're trying to tackle this problem, which is a really terrible problem to have in society right now. Mm-hmm. But it does open the hatch and open the doors for a lot of surveillance and some issues in the future if they open it up to other subject material. Yeah.
Well, and we were talking that it's just a built-in backdoor to your phone, really, at the end of the day, because they say that it's only going to be for this material now, but we have no idea what they end up using it for. And I think that's really what the ethics come down to.
Yeah.
Is should anyone be spied on for any reason, really? Like,
yeah. And this is like, if someone sent that to you through iMessage, it's flagged. And then they're saying like the main trigger is if it's uploaded to iCloud.
Yeah.
Right. So like that's the main trigger that will get it to send off to authorities. It's like if those photos are uploaded to iCloud, but they haven't confirmed, I don't believe, they haven't confirmed that that's the only trigger.
Yeah.
They're saying that's the primary trigger for this authority trigger to happen or notification. So, I mean, there's a lot of people all over the tech community. There's people from WhatsApp. I think the president of WhatsApp has said publicly, like, this is the wrong way to approach this problem.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other ethics people saying this could create some really, really big issues with technology surveilling you.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's kind of, and not to get political, but we're just, being real here, but it's kind of the whole concept of free speech, and any censorship of speech innately is no longer free speech.
Yeah.
And so because you're trying to stop someone from saying something bad, you're relinquishing your choice on what is good or bad to an authority. But then that authority now has the power to be able to say, well, now we think this is bad.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So like John Prosser, we've talked about him a few times. His video on this was actually like really, really good.
Yeah.
The way that he approached it and the way that he talks about the subject is really well put. He's just saying like none of us disagree that that this is something that we shouldn't do, because we should do something
that
about
it's
it,
evil,
right?
Yeah.
We all know it's evil.
Yeah.
But he's saying, I mean, what happens when they just change their mind about this is just for this CSAM material? What if it's on other types of material and for all countries around the world, right? Like now Apple has said that they have this backdoor, so those governments are going to ask them to do more than just this.
Yeah. And they might try to leverage things and say, hey, we won't let you sell your phones in this country unless you give us access to this or whatever. It's just like, then you have just like these Goliaths in the world throwing their weight around to be able to look into your life and dictate what's good or bad.
And the irony of this is it's Apple that's doing this first. Which is a company that touts their privacy as like their number one feature, which again, going back, like none of us, I mean, if you don't have anything, people are like, if you don't have anything to hide, it shouldn't matter. But it's like, this is stuff that you have on your phone that you didn't maybe even send anyone or someone sent to you. Yeah. Right? Like, well, you could be flagged as guilty without being guilty.
Yeah. Let's use like a real world example. And in parts of the world that it's illegal to belong to LGBTQ communities.
That's a big one that they're calling out.
Yeah. Their government could say, hey, like, we want to know if they're uploading this kind of stuff onto their, so that we can go and stop it. In some cases, kill. So it's like, you're now relinquishing what is your choice of that to a different authority and saying, I'm okay with them dictating.
You're no longer free on that device.
Exactly. It's, I mean, again, like we said it in the title, it's the right thing. It's just not the right way of doing it. And we were talking too, it's really odd timing for Apple to kind of be doing any of this because of all the scrutiny that they're under right now with the competition lawsuits and then Google pushing RCS.
Yeah, it seems weird for Apple to make this call right now.
Yeah. And to make it so official too.
Maybe they should have just waited a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if they're trying to just jump on. Maybe they just figured that people would just be excited that they're trying to do something about this, but maybe people aren't as dumb as they think. And people are like, wait, I can read between the lines on this one. Yeah. I'm giving you access to look at my stuff. What if you deem one day that owning more than 3 guitars is bad and illegal? And then they see that I upload pictures of my guitars all the time, and then they come and raid my house and grab my guitars. Yeah, what happens?
Someone's
then?
At your door.
That's
without
real.
without you sending or saying anything.
Yeah,
it just was there.
Yeah, and so that's a joke, but really, that could happen for anything. Yeah, for anything. And so it's just like. I think it's dicey territory to give any tech company that kind of
crossing major privacy lines. Yeah. I think is the big thing that people are hung up on, which they should be. Yeah. It's like this is crossing really, really large privacy and freedom of speech and thought lines.
Yeah. It just did you ever watch Minority Report? It just reminds me a ton of that.
Oh, for sure.
You just start getting into this territory of like, now we're gonna predict whether or not you're a criminal. Like we'll know in the future.
You have these behavioral patterns that we know ends up becoming criminal behavior.
Exactly.
Even though you've never committed a crime. Yeah, you're guilty.
So I don't know. I'm sure because we're all nerds. Some of you watch animes, but there's an anime called Psycho-Pass, which incredible anime. It's more my wife. It's like one of the only like animes that she's actually like, oh yeah, I'm excited for season 3. But the whole premise of that is that the government is able to actually see the stability of your mind and then say, oh, hey, your levels are way too high. You're in the danger zone of creating or committing a crime. We're going to arrest you or execute you right now, depending on how high that level is. Whoa. And so great show, but it really kind of puts the idea of when you start relinquishing your thoughts, you like your capacity to do something to another entity, that's like starts getting really dicey.
Yeah.
And really sketchy. And like you said, I don't think it can be overstated. Of course, we think this is evil stuff.
Yeah.
And
Something should be done about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I just like giving Apple that kind of responsibility, because that's really what it is it's giving Apple responsibility to do something good with that information.
Yeah. What the WhatsApp, I wish I knew his name, the guy from WhatsApp.
President of WhatsApp?
Yeah, if you just look up him in relation to this story, but he was saying we should just be making it significantly easier for people to report this behavior. Right? Like, if someone did send you something and you could easily report that material to authorities, like someone sent you something and you know something's up here.
Yeah.
He's like, we should be making it easier for people to report it, but not have your device report you.
No, for sure.
That's the difference.
Yeah, his name is Will Cathcart.
Yeah.
I read the information Apple put out yesterday, and I'm concerned. I think this is the wrong approach and a setback for people's privacy all over the world. People have asked if we'll adopt this system for WhatsApp, and the answer is no.
Yeah.
So I think that this is going to be the stance of most tech.
Yeah.
If they're intelligent.
A lot of people are standing behind exactly what he's saying.
Yeah.
Like, this is just the wrong way to do it.
It just drops their stance in the security world, I think.
Yeah.
Especially when Google is really, I mean, I think you and I would probably say that they've surpassed Apple in that, but in security. But this really kind of establishes them, and they could use that and leverage it and say, well, yeah, look at already Apple's starting to break down on some of their security. You know?
Yeah, it's weird that Apple would take this approach too. It seems like they would have seen that people would have looked at this and been like, aren't you the privacy company?
Yeah.
And
but now you're giving someone a back door to my
device.
It's really weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, in China, Apple is in China, and Apple actually supports the censorship that happens in China to be able to sell iPhones in China.
Yeah.
So it's not like Apple is, completely void of censorship and surveillance. They as a company have said that they're fine with that entity's rules.
Sure.
And Google actually is not in China for that reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well,
I don't know.
Because again, it goes to show that if they're willing to cave on that, what else are they going to cave on? If it means getting their phones into that area.
For sure.
And so it's a really strange, it's honestly a really strange conversation. I think it should be talked about more. I think more people should be aware that this is happening, because it doesn't sound like it's going to be something you can opt out of.
Yeah. Nilay Patel from The Verge, he's like the chief editor there. He tweeted, he said, if you wanted to send a signal to Apple that this is wrong, this is the wrong way to approach this, and you wanted to get rid of your iPhone and send that signal, he said you'd have to sell your watch, you'd have to potentially move all of your content, all your purchases and everything. You'd have to repurchase those on other platforms. Your phone, your watch, everything would have to change to send that signal to Apple that I'm leaving. And that walled garden is so high that it'd be super hard to send that signal in the free market that this is the wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's where some of the monopolistic problems are coming. People can't.
That's a really good point.
They can't send that signal to Apple to say that this is wrong.
Because you can talk about the convenience of having the walled garden, because then you're rid of choice and you don't even have to think about it. You're just like, oh, what's in my ecosystem? But this is again, just like what you were saying, this is where the issue arises with a monopoly, is that now they're going to, if they make a decision about the entire platform that inevitably impacts you.
And people disagree.
And there's nothing you can really do about it.
They can't send that free market signal up to the company.
Yeah.
Quickly to say this is wrong.
Yeah.
And normally that means you switch to something else, but people just won't switch because it's too expensive to switch.
Marketing campaign for Google?
Yeah, I know.
I just think this is a really strange move.
It is.
We've said this a couple times. I was confused by it when you brought it up to me, because Jaydan knows more than me, if you guys didn't already pick up on that. but I just have opinions. But
Yeah.
I just
So
think
do I.
just
Yeah.
think this is strange timing. It's a strange thing to announce, and I can't imagine that Apple thought that people would take this with open arms.
Yeah, I mean, they're not dummies. They know
Yeah.
that people are going to have this response. I
They
don't
just
know.
don't care.
Maybe they don't
It's
care.
like we're just gonna.
Or they know that they're a monopolistic size that people won't send the response.
Yeah.
In a meaningful way to them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to do what they're going to do.
Jeez. I don't know. Let us know what you guys think on this. I mean, it gives me the heebie-jeebies. It's not Google Goosebumps. It's Apple Goosebumps on this one, but
Yeah.
I just think it's strange. But let us know what you think. Maybe let us know any like solutions that you think that there could be for something like this. And I think the really like the thing that I'm really want to know is if you're an Apple user, does this make you a little leery of giving Apple so much control and so much of your money in your life? It's a really interesting conversation to have.
It is. It's a conversation that needs to happen.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
And I think that's the best part to come out of all of this is people are having that privacy conversation that should have happened a long time ago.
Yeah,
with technology.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I think it's just going to keep it. That conversation is going to keep rolling. And I think Google is going to take advantage of this situation. Because we were talking about, I don't know, now our lunch conversation and our podcast conversation is starting to, but like, I just feel like this really positions Google with RCS to be able to be like, hey, look at Apple, like, and that they're messing up on this. Like, why won't they make RCS the standard when SMS is like super insecure? This is strange. Outcry.
Yeah.
It'd be there's like a couple things here that are not really stacking up in Apple's favor, and I'm just afraid that it's a signal flare for something that's coming.
Yeah. It's a weird call.
Like they're testing the waters to see what they can really get away with. And then they're just going to keep pushing forward.
Then they just keep going forward on it. Yeah.
We'll see. But on a lighter conversation, but still one that is divisive amongst Jaydan and Laramie is there's a company called Framework that is producing a truly modular laptop. Now, one of the big hot topic conversations as of late is the right to repair conversation. It's like, is it someone's right to be able to repair their device and keep it running for as long as they want and be able to make those kind of fixes themselves out of their own pocket? And Framework is taking this idea and they're really just running not just the extra mile, they're running like the extra 10 miles. So Framework, for those of you who don't know, is a modular laptop that they actually created like little, like, it's almost like do you remember the old memory cards on the N64?
Yeah.
That you could pop them into the controller? It's almost like those things.
Yeah.
They're these little like
slot
things and that go into the laptop and lets you, first of all, it lets you change your IO instantaneously.
Yeah,
if you
can
want
just
another Thunderbolt.
move the ports where you want them and what you want them to be.
Yeah.
And
like Linus hates mice. Well, he loves wired mice, but he hates having it on the right side because then his hand hits the dongle. And so even in his little presentation of it, he was able to just move, well, I'll just move it onto this side of the laptop. And not only that, though, but practically all of the components on the inside of the laptop are interchangeable.
Yeah, and
easily.
They even put QR codes.
That's such a good idea.
The parts on the inside to give you instructions, like immediate access to the instructions on how to replace them. Yeah, how to go through the process of fixing it.
They color coded the screws.
Yeah,
so that you would know. Oh yeah, these screws go with this component.
They put extra screws inside.
All the different colors.
If you lose the screws.
Like, come on.
Yeah,
this is like...
It's pretty cool.
So regardless of what you think of modularity within laptops, I just think that their extra mile to make sure that you could swap out a component easily is super cool and should be done more.
Yeah.
What's it take for a company to put a QR code on a battery? Not
Nothing.
very much, man.
Nothing.
Like, not very much.
No, it's super cheap.
And so I just think... even if companies just started doing that, where they just made it a little bit more easy to repair things, that'd be cool.
They had little instructions on some of the tabs too, like pull this first. It had number 1, and then number 2, so like you have to do them in order. It's pretty cool.
The Wi-Fi card was like super easy and easy to trace and figure out where you were supposed to remove it and put it. And excuse me. And then just like RAM, of course, is upgradable. SSDs, of course, are upgradable. But there was also some stuff that they were doing with the CPU. Because inherently CPUs with laptops, they really just need to be baked in.
It's soldered to the motherboard. Yeah.
But they're making it to where it would be in the future, like they could release the CADs and they could create, like, if you wanted to upgrade it in the future.
Yeah, so you could buy a new motherboard from them with a processor.
Yeah.
And then you could potentially move like the battery and the RAM and the SSD and stuff all to that new motherboard.
Yeah.
And put it in the same frame that you already own.
Yeah.
So
for sure. And the screen, if you've ever had to do a screen replacement on a laptop,
I never even have attempted because I know that it'd be terrible.
Attempted and I failed. Like it was not good. It was not good.
Glue everywhere.
I didn't even get the thing out. I just got like to the spot of like being like, I was like, oh, okay, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Like it's like,
really? Did it crack?
No, I was able to save the laptop and not break it. I just got to a spot where I was like, this is insane. What are they asking me to do here?
Yeah.
This is not a bomb that I should be able to that I need to defuse. This is just like my laptop screen.
For sure.
I want to fix it. But with the framework laptop, it's literally, there's a magnetic, the bezel's magnetic and just like
I didn't
slaps
see that.
onto,
That's cool.
It just slaps onto the screen of the laptop. You just remove that magnetic, which you can switch it from black to white if you wanted it to be a white aesthetic. You can do that too.
Want to do that, but
you
okay,
know,
you can.
And I don't know. It might look okay with like a laptop like this because mine's magnesium, but it's just literally just basically popping it out of its housing and then just swapping
putting the new one in, put the bezel on it. That's cool.
So like this is 144 hertz this laptop, but say I had a 60 hertz one. And I was never into gaming. I only played solitaire. But then all of a sudden I'm just like, hey, this new Halo thing sounds pretty cool. And Halo Infinite is coming out. I want to try that out. And so then I'm like, okay, cool. I want 144 hertz screen. Done.
Just put it on there.
Fix it.
Yeah.
So I think the idea is really cool. I
agree. I think the idea is cool.
But I mean, I would agree. Well, Jaydan, you can just explain your side of things. I don't need to defend myself yet.
I don't know. I don't think companies are taking the opposite approach just because they're greedy and want to keep you buying another device eventually. I mean, like, I just think for things to be slim and svelte and fit well together in a certain way, it has to not be a modular device.
Yeah.
To have a certain look and aesthetic and design. It looks great.
Because the surface is thicker than this thing.
Yeah. I just think if you think of a MacBook in terms of build quality and just like the aesthetic of it, that's less possible with a modular type device.
Sure, I'll definitely give you that. But
that's
how many Windows PCs actually look like a
I agree.
Mac?
The other side of it,
come on, man, let's fight.
People don't care. People don't care.
Yeah.
The general consumer, they don't care. They're like, oh, the USB port's on the left now, and it was on the right on the last version. Yeah, cool. Like I'll just keep using it. Like
it's almost
they don't care.
It's almost like the company framework actually needs to push this as like a social movement, rather than just like a product. Because so something that I've adopted over the years is that I'm much like slower to throw something out and just buy a new one. I try to fix it. Like my TV remote started bugging out. Like it was just like I think the volume button wasn't working. And I had ordered one on Amazon that was super cheap.
Like a universal one.
Yeah. And I was just like, I'll just get a new one. But then while it was in transit, I was like, well, I mean, I'm getting a new one. I might as well try to fix this one.
Sure.
All it took was I opened it. I now have a 15-month-old. He must have dropped something in there because I could just see some stuff on the breadboard. And I just used some electronic cleaner, cleaned it off,
Yeah.
popped it back together, and boom, it was working again.
Canned air and
Yeah,
and you're done.
and so I think to me that kind of sparked this whole idea that I don't throw away tech very often anymore unless it's just like outdated and it can't keep up. But I think, and I don't just do that just for economy's sake. I mean, economy wise, that's really, I mean, that adds
you
up.
resell a lot of your tech though too,
I do. I resell a lot.
is great. It's better than going into the trash.
Exactly. I think that's a really important conversation for people to have, especially with tech.
Don't just throw tech away.
Yeah, you can recycle that. There could be someone that's less fortunate than you that could use it. Like, you know, like the OnePlus 7 Pro that I had. I didn't just like throw that away. I gave it to my mom.
Yeah.
And she
I don't think
uses
I've
that now.
ever thrown a phone away.
No. Well, mostly just because I like them for sentimentality's sake too.
Yeah. I
Some
don't think
of
I've
them.
ever thrown a phone away.
But I think if they framed this framework, if they framed this in more of the idea of like, hey, like we want to be able to make a product that when, you know, the screen is still fantastic, the SSDs are still working great, but it's just slow because you don't have enough RAM to compete with what you're doing, rather than just being like, okay, I'm going to just get rid of this computer and be at a loss because it's no longer new. You could just buy a component from Framework because they're going to release some of these proprietary things that so it's even easier to just swap them in and out.
Sure.
And extend the longevity of your laptop.
Yeah.
If they framed it more like that, Framework,
Yeah.
then
I still don't think people care though.
no, exactly. I don't think they do either. I don't think they do either. That's why
they're like, I'll use it until it is gone into the ground. Those types of people.
Yeah.
Where even if it is kind of not working, they'll buy a Bluetooth keyboard or something. Right?
Yeah.
They're just going to keep using the same thing that's broken. Or they're the other type of person that really doesn't care and they just throw it out and buy a new one.
Yeah, if that's you, screw you, man.
I know.
Like if you're throwing away a computer just because it's like, you know, there's so many things that people can use.
That same person might just give it away too. Give it away to someone. But.
This is such a side tangent, but there's this guy that does like lots of techie DIY projects and stuff. But he was taking the screens of old laptops and removing the actual RGB component of them out, and he could make them into fake windows that were very convincing as like ambient light coming from like outside.
What?
Yeah, because there's this film that makes things like look further away than they actually are. So he put that on top of it, and it would make it look like it's actually just like frosted glass, but to the outside. So there's like so much. So recycling is definitely
reuse.
What is it? It's recycling up. Like recycling up is like definitely like a big thing right now, where people are taking things that just don't work or they don't function and turning it into something else that works.
Upcycling,
that's it.
Yeah.
And I think that if we could do that more, I think it could actually have a genuine impact financially and on the
environment.
Yeah. But I would agree with you. I don't think that the general consumer cares. But if there were enough people, techies, people who genuinely care about their software or their hardware, then whoever's buying this is definitely going to utilize it for what it's for. I think they'll just upgrade and upgrade.
They have a market for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There are enough people that are tinkerers that are going to buy this.
I tinker like crazy, man. I tinker much.
I'm not really like a hardware tinkerer.
Yeah.
I'm more of like a software tinkerer.
Sure.
Like I like to mess with settings and stuff and all of that. But yeah, I mean, they have a market.
Oh, for sure. I just hope that they can survive.
Yeah, me too.
They said that their whole, because Linus in his video about it, he brought up like a similar thing to the CEO. And he said, hey, we're pretty confident that with our product, with being able to make these modules that slap in, that people keep coming back and buying more of these modules so that they'll just keep the longevity. Because I actually watched someone else's video on Apple, and Apple, like people, when they buy an Apple phone, they keep them for a long time. So they're not really making any money. Like the iPhone itself is really a loss leader.
It's just
to get you into.
I mean, some iPhone users keep them for 6 years.
Yeah. We know them. We see them all the time.
Yeah.
Like folks that just like carry around, I knew someone that had a 4 all the way up until last year. And they were still using it.
Maybe that's the extreme though.
That is the extreme.
That's like 9 years old.
But I don't know, because like this wasn't an old person. This was like a younger person.
Yeah.
And they were just
they just had that phone.
Yeah, they just have that phone. They're like, it works. Why do I need anything else?
Mm-hmm.
But the iPhone itself is a loss leader, because really what they're trying to do is they're just trying to get more content in your face, and that you'll buy more content.
They're doing more subscription type fees now too.
Which is where everything is going.
Yeah.
And so if you saw the framework in that kind of sense, it's almost like a subscription where it's like you buy into this product, and they will get more money as you use
residual investment.
Yeah.
Right.
Which you can't say that about this laptop that has everything soldered on.
Yeah. You bought it once
and that's it.
And that's what you got.
But this was the first time that Linus actually bought one on camera as he was doing the review.
Really?
He was doing the review, and he was like, guys, this is the first time I'm doing this, but I'm literally going on this computer to their website and like ordering one right now.
That's cool.
So
I didn't get to watch the end of the video. I watched the beginning, but
you should. It's cool. And it's not going to be for everybody, but it might be for me.
I think it's for enough. Yeah. Depends on the processor, man.
Well, yeah, you can get an i7, which I'm kind of sold on AMD. If they start doing AMD, then I would be in. I'd just be like, yep,
they need to do
take
AMD
my money.
Options for sure.
Because it's not unaffordable either. I think you can get their base model for like $999.
Well, and that's the DIY model, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they have a model that you build for the most part yourself.
Yeah.
Which is way cheaper for them and for you.
Yeah. So it's just like, I guess our common ground is it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But it's still cool tech.
I agree.
It's really a cool company and cool concept.
It's a segment that deserves to have attention and to last for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, the opposite side of the spectrum is you have Apple. Man, we're really ragging on Apple today.
Sorry.
But you have,
Apple.
Yeah, sorry. But stop looking at our stuff, man. But so it's like they're on the opposite side of the spectrum where they're making it so difficult to work on phones that even some folks that used to be licensed like Apple repair shops aren't able to do it anymore. Mm-hmm. Just because like the parts get so expensive, and then or Apple locks them out.
Has done a lot of things that they say that we're just not going to give you the tool to do that.
Exactly.
So
which is sad, and
it is sad.
Really, with all their touting about like environmental consciousness and stuff like that, that's not very environmentally conscious.
No, I have to go to or ship my device to you. Directly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So look, we found common ground.
We always
I thought we were about to trade blows. No, I'm kidding. But that's the episode. That's what we had. It's kind of funny. We went to lunch and we were like, we don't have very many notes. Oh well, we're just gonna figure it out.
Wing it.
Yeah, which I think is more natural anyway. Yeah. I'm excited about this episode. I think you guys will enjoy it. Also, we're both going on vacation in a couple weeks, and so maybe expect for there not to be an episode. We'll see as our schedules kind of pan out whether or not we have the time to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But it's good to rest. It's really good to rest sometimes.
And we're heading into Techtober, Tech September timeframe,
which we don't know. Maybe we'll jump to doing it once a week because that's going to be so much information dropping all the time.
A lot of news back to back. So we might take a break right before that season.
Yeah. So this might be our opportunity to do that. But maybe we'll find other ways to be able to interact with you guys and post some sort of content. But remember to always let us know if there's some sort of topic that you want us to talk about. I'm still loving that we have conversations with people that listen to our podcast. Yeah. I just had someone last week be like, oh yeah, I listen to your podcast. I was like, oh, sick. So for you guys, thank you for listening. And follow us on social media, Jaydan and Laramie. Actually, just go to jaydanandlaramie.com.
Yeah, that's probably easiest because all the links are there.
Yeah.
So
and you could just go. And this guy built it. It's awesome. It's gorgeous.
Kind of landing
Works.
page. Get what you need. So.
And so that'll take you to our YouTube, take you to any of our streaming platforms. And aside from that, anything to say, Jaydan?
Not this time.
Not this time. Cool. Well, again, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.